Are you ready to get casual? Grab your favorite adult beverage or combustible plant and join us for our roundtable TTRPG discussion. Oh yeah, it's time for Casual Friday. And now, here are your hosts.
What's up? I'm Jim. That's Brad. That's Ryan. We saw you from across the bar and we kind of dig your vibe and wanted to invite you into our podcast where we talk about things that are going on in the TTRPG industry.
Hey Jim, I don't like labels. Okay, I thought we were keeping this pretty undefined and open. And
whatever you want it to be. You know, I'm not interested in putting pressure on you of any kind. That's really no problem. Last week, Gen Con happened, and these guys were here, and they talked. No, these guys over here. They talked about it. I was not here to talk about it, and I have a few additional thoughts. So today, I want to start off with Jim relitigates Gen Con. This is a new series on the show, probably one of its kind. It's probably the only semi-annual series. Okay, so I just have a few points here, and then this is going to lead into sort of a mini discussion topic at the end. So first of all, D&D icons. What is it? They never actually said what it is. And I kind of gather from context that it's a group of people who've been in D&D for a long time who are going to be writing books. But if you showed me that picture of those dads there on the right and said, you know, what do you think these guys are? I'd say it looks like a group of guys who once a month they go to the axe throwing place and drink a couple pitchers and get a little wild. It's get away from their wives. But they never actually said what it was, which I found was interesting. Point number 2, the Warlock presentation reminded us all that Trisha Helfer is a stone cold fox, and I haven't seen enough people talking about that online. That was the main takeaway from that Warlock presentation. Now I have some rapid fire.
How did I miss that, Jim?
I don't know, but there's not enough chatter about it online. So now some rapid fire points to get through. More Greyhawk? Yeah, great. Third parties doing settings? Yeah, great. LFGs and better website search on D&D Beyond? Yeah, great, man. Dark Sun? Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. Death Saves Blood War? Sure, why not? But then there's one other thing. D&D Universes Beyond. Let's talk about this because I have some thoughts, but my thoughts are probably not the thoughts you're thinking I'm thinking. Because my thoughts...
thinking some thoughts that you might be thinking.
And so we're metacognition at this level.
So let's talk about the D&D EU. Now, Now, practically, if I don't have a strong response toward loving it or hating it because I don't care about Warcraft and there's already Star Wars D&D, and so Transformers, G.I. Joe D&D, whatever. I don't care about any of that. I mean, practically, what that amounts to is if you don't care about it, then it doesn't affect your life in very much. It's just another thing you have to say no to. As a dungeon master, like, can I have Strixhaven spells like Silvery Barbs? No. Can I have a lightsaber? No. Can I be a Decepticon? No. You know, it's just another thing in the list that you'd be like, no, that doesn't work for my setting. But here's what was interesting about this to me is that I saw this announcement and I was very curious about how people were going to respond to it, because saying we're going to have Transformers in our Dungeons and Dragons is kind of a big deal. It's a big opening of the door for something that has worked in Magic the Gathering, worked financially in Magic the Gathering, I should say. It's been a big financial boon for MTG to have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in their worlds forever. So I started looking around online. I looked, watched some YouTube videos, and I checked Reddit, and I was looking on the socials to see how people were responding to this. And the response seemed, a little toward the negative. But what I didn't see was a big outcry. Didn't see a big response to it. Not a lot of people really jazzed about it. Not a lot of people really angry about how this is another capitalism, et cetera, yada, yada. I didn't see a whole lot of that. Mm-hmm. What I saw was a lot of, whatever. And I saw, I saw some people complaining, but it was mostly a lot of whatever. And that I found fascinating because it really made me think about. It's only three. Okay, now it's the year of our Lord 20 Dickety 6. It's August, and back in 20 Dickety 3 was the OGL. We have to say Dickety because the Kaiser took our word for 20. In 2023, it was just a little bit over 3 years ago that the OGL happened. And if you think about, say, a year past the OGL, 2024. 1 year after the OGL, people were still angry enough to be making videos about how upset they were about the OGL 1 year later, right? It was still a topic you could just make a video about and put it out and get a bunch of views on because there was that much residual anger. Remember the creator summit where they were like, we want to open our doors, and then a bunch of creators came and basically asked them different versions of, why do you suck so bad? And so they never did that again, right? So it made me think about if they had announced this expanded universe thing in 2024, what would the response have been back then?
Oh, it definitely would have been a ton of backlash. It would have been, we're getting, Disney D&D, right? Like that's like people would treat it like, you know, like another cash grab. They would treat it like it's watering down the product, but treating it like, it's, the W word. There'd be all those things.
Yes. So the fact that that this has been released without nearly that kind of fanfare, that kind of angry baggage attached that came with every release up until this point, Age of Vecna, the Bigby's Glory of the Giants, or whatever that thing was called, every one of those releases came with a lot of residual anger that was irrelevant to the quality of the product. Those products got a lot of hate just because of anger at the OGL. But the fact that the response to this has been so little, I am now declaring that we have entered the post-OGL era.
All right, yeah, I might buy that.
And this is my mini topic to lead into, just a quick topic to lead us into, because all the new people at WotC, all the old guard that has gone and moved on to other things, the way the public reacts to these things now, all the evidence just says, I feel like now we are finally, it wasn't 2024 coming out, it was now. It was this like clean break of going to Gen Con, announcing all these things, and the way that people are reacting. So what do you guys think?
I'm buying what you're selling, Jim. And I think like they packaged it well. Because they didn't just announce this. They didn't just announce Universes Beyond. They also announced the icons. And yes, we don't know exactly what they mean by icons, but I presume it's, it's a second set of game designers who are like, instead of full-time WotC employees, they're contracting on projects, right? Like Luke Gygax I'm sure he's a contract employee, right? Or he has his own business and they have a license agreement. One of those two things is what I'm assuming is going on there for Luke to do official Greyhawk content, right? So that's what I'm, interpreting the things they've said so far, that Icons is this group, kind of a subset of like somehow contracted designers working on, iconic properties, Greyhawk, Dark Sun, so forth. And so bringing back, products that, yes, they are going to appeal to the grognards, right? They know that they have alienated a large group of fans, right, with the OGL. Rightly so. Like we all balked at the OGL because it was bad. That new OGL that they tried to come out with was crap, and everybody balked against it, and then they got rid of it. We won, contrary to, we all won, right? The community responded, and rightly so. Along with that, though, the whole OGL gave a lot of grognards a lot of ammunition to get even louder, but most of them were already alienated by their own decisions, right? a lot of those grognards who were like diehard OSR. Like, there's a lot of great people in the OSR community. Like, I'm not throwing shade on the OSR community. There's a lot of great, OSR gamers, and there's a lot of great OSR products out there. We talk about all the OSR products that we love, right? But we know which group we're talking about. There's a subset of those grognards, OSR folks, who were dragging other concepts, other ideas into the argument, and all that gets really muddy, right? It gives a lot of people space to complain, and so I think bringing back Dark Sun, bringing back Luke to work on Greyhawk, right? That mends some fences, and like, if we're mending fences with grognards, right? I mean, technically, I think I fall into the grognard category to a certain extent. I'm an older gamer who grew up playing First Edition, and I've been playing, alongside my D&D, I've been using a lot of OSR products and so forth and so on. But like, I think mending the fences is the best word or best phrase I can use to describe, the icons, right? And so I think putting both of these things out there at the same time, I think hopefully sells the point that they kept trying to make, which they kept saying over and over again: D&D is for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. They said that phrase multiple times, and I think that's fair. I think you want a version of D&D out there for every different type of player. And I think that's smart. We've said that before on the show, right? That there is no right way to do D&D. Like, every table is different and every group of players is unique. And, there should be D&D products for all the different styles of play.
Agreed. And I don't know, but I hope that is maybe what Icons is going to be. It feels like, or Death Saves, which again, I don't know if Death Saves is under Icons or it's just the same guy. It was a confusing presentation. I think mostly because R.A. Salvatore was like, I can't read that teleprompter, so I'm just going off, which brought me a lot of joy. But as far as post-OGL era, like I've been saying it for a little bit, we've been in a rebuilding era, and I think this is the first real look at what the new guard, the new staff at Wizards of the Coast has been working on for the past year or so. OGL was a debacle. 5.5 was less than it could have been because of that. And then all of those people left or were in the process of leaving. And new people came in, and it takes a while to make stuff. And I think part of the reason you're not seeing as much of a single message or outcry on the internet right now is because of the fire hose of information they gave us at that keynote. It wasn't just like, hey guys, Warcraft is next. It was, we're doing some obscure stuff with all of these people that you love, and maybe it's a novel or a board game or a whole new system with modified rules. Plus we're doing Dark Sun. Plus Star Wars? ? Oh, by the way, the newest books are still coming out in a month, and we're not even talking about those. So I think that's part of the reason you're not seeing as much of an outcry. I think the other side of it is that Warcraft is a really good fit. I think actually people would be more psyched about it if it didn't have that Universes Beyond tag over it, which, like, all right, put that in the org chart, put that in the, the investor report or whatever. I think the biggest pushback is coming from people who are mad about Magic the Gathering. Not a huge Magic the Gathering guy, but all of the Universes Beyond stuff that people like don't really get painted with that brush, right? People are pumped about the Final Fantasy stuff. I mean, I'm sure some people are not, but like, people only bring out like, this is stupid and shouldn't be Magic for whatever IP that they're mad about, and rightfully so. if they're doing 3 things a year, which if you look at their presentation, the org chart for the last year and for this year, there's 3 seasons per year. I'm not going through one major campaign a year. I don't know if other people are doing that, but if they make 3 things and I like one of them, awesome. I like 2 of them, awesome. The third one is, I don't know, making them a bunch of money so they're not trying to over monetize D&D Beyond with microtransactions or whatever the case is that we're afraid of, or bringing in other people who may eventually play D&D with me at my table in a different version of the game that I like. Cool. No problem. So yeah, I do think I think we're in a new era, and I'm excited about it. I've been very cautiously optimistic because we didn't know what we're getting, and honestly, we still don't. But I'm psyched, and I think, I don't know, all the grumbly grognard means veteran, but it also means grumbler. So I don't think Brad is falling into that category. But all that negativity, I don't know, wore itself out. Like, go play a different game. There's a bunch of them. We're going to talk about them in a minute. They're cool. They're great. Go do that instead. I don't know. The internet is a good place to be upset about things, but it's a waste of your time, folks.
Indeed.
Yeah. To me, the lineup made sense, right? Like, they're bringing in Luke to work on, because we know from history, right, that when D&D tries to do too much, right, things get watered down. Whether we're talking, back during second edition when TSR fell apart because they were putting out too many products, and there's a whole, Jim does a good video on that. You can go watch that. So, or whether it was like latter part of 5e where they were putting out like 4 products a year, and we got Strixhaven and, some other kind of watered down products. We had some good products in there, but there were several that were kind of disappointing. They're spreading things out, which is good. Because like Luke is working on, and his team are working on Greyhawk, right? They appear to be doing Dark Sun in-house, and the what's the other new adventure of the arcane adventures that are coming out, right? That was all in-house. And then they've got Cobalt Press working on Forgotten Realms. They got Ghostfire, which that seems to be like the best lineup. You got Ghostfire working on Domains of Dread for Ravenloft and that sort of thing. Ghostfire is really good at dark fantasy. Like, that's their brand, right? So you bring in a third-party creator who does dark fantasy well to do your dark fantasy product. Like, that just makes sense. And that's the thing that I was most impressed by all of this, is how much sense it all made, right? So that, it's like, I'm hopeful because it's, not because it's WotC, because we've seen WotC make a ton of mistakes, cue the stepping on rakes. But the things they're doing, it just makes sense. And that gives me hope, right? Like, usually we're looking at them like, oh, cool, the new D&D movie is going to be set in Baldur's Gate. Wait a second. Why didn't we get a Baldur's Gate product when the movie came out? Like, we're often like, it seems like a no-brainer to do these things this way, right? We've said that so many times on this show. Why are they not doing X? Because X would really make sense. And this was the first time where, like, WotC comes out with this, like, big plan, and, like, the things line up for me. It makes sense.
Mr. Welch asked a question here about using 5e as a generic system. This is valid. We're very curious to see how much they're going to twist the rules for Dark Sun and for WoW. I know WoW is getting all new classes, new species.
Well, new species and new subclasses, which I think is a lot easier to do.
Yeah, so Dark Sun's going to have a lot of survival rules and that kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see how well they twist the rules. We have so many things we have to get to today. We have to move on. And speaking of great games, the Ennies that we've mentioned a few times before, they finally announced, I believe it was just yesterday, announced the winners of 2026. And the big winners, Legend in the Mist, Crooked Moon, Daggerheart, and Dolmen Wood. Legends in the Mist and Crooked Moon each got 6. Daggerheart and Darrington Press got 5, and Dolmen Wood got 4. Crooked Moon I'm familiar with. That's the one from Legends of Adventures. Legend in the Mist, I'm not really familiar with that game.
It's a more story driven. It has like some narrative components. It's got great art. What categories did it win for?
Looking at best art, interior.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it won best art. It looks beautiful. It's a really great looking game. I think isn't that the one that also like the how to play is a comic book?
Yeah,
It's choose your own adventure style comic book, which is like really cool artwork and a really cool way to teach people how to play your game.
it's very cool, tag based. It encourages character development and like narratively and mechanically in a way that I find very interesting. Very cool game that I forgot about in the rush of all of these other games coming out. And honestly, I am surprised. So Ennies are a popularity contest, and that is not disparagement. That it like people, everyone shows up and votes. So you're measuring how good stuff is, but also how vibrant the community is around it. So the fact
It's a great way to say it, Ryan.
yeah, and so the fact that Legends in the Mist is like doing so well here means a lot of people dig it. It's not coming from an actual play with a huge audience. It's standing on its own, and that is not a disparagement against Crooked Moon. Super cool. The fact that they've won a bunch of categories here made me take a second look. I don't have room in my life for like another actual play. No shade to them. That's a time management thing, but their adventure looks super cool and thorough. Like going through it, every species option comes from a place in the world. Every class has a subclass that's rooted in the style of play. Bunch of custom spells, bunch of cool monsters, super cool art. Fatty, I think it was like the PDFs are like 600 pages. Like a full level 1 to level 13 adventure for 5e24. So if you're looking for something, your folks won't, your people at your table won't leave D&D, but you're mad at WotC for whatever reason, or you just want a different vibe. Crooked Moon, pretty cool. Also, I mean, Dolmen Wood is where my votes went. I am a huge fan of Dolmen Wood. I'm confused about why. I don't know how time works in Ennies because I haven't played Dolmen Wood in 18 months, maybe. But Dolmen Wood is fantastic. What am I forgetting? Darrington Press, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Daggerheart.
That's the least surprising.
Yeah, Daggerheart's a blast to play. I'm not surprised that it won a bunch of awards. It's a really well-designed game. The one thing I would say about, it seems like a no-brainer to me that Dolmen Wood got best cartography because, because the entire thing is like this amazingly thorough hex crawl, and they have a dedicated map book for it. So the fact that their map book got best cartography does not surprise me, because that thing is a labor of love. I mean, he's been working on this world for 8 years now. Is that when I remember the zines coming out, the Dolmen Wood, I think the zines were called Wormwood. Am I remembering right? Wormskin. Yes. The Wormskin zines were coming out. It had to be like eight or 9 years ago. Like, he's been working on this, building up to this for a long time. And it was originally just supposed to be zines for Old School Essentials, right? And it has grown into its own campaign setting and its own game, and it's a gorgeous product in like all the ways. It's a really well designed setting and game, and I'm not surprised Dolmen Wood took home a bunch of Emmys.
Yeah. Here's hoping people will experience some new games as a result of this. Also, Gen Con was last week, and the D&D announcements seemed to overshadow some other announcements. So kind of rapid fire, I want to go through a few other things that were announced at the Gen Con. Vampire Masquerade is getting a brand new edition. 6th edition, because there's been more than 5. It's kind of the D&D thing where they have the 20th anniversary edition is considered V20 or something like that, but it's different. It came out around the same time as the 5th edition, but they're people who are very particular one over the other. Which one did you play, Brad?
I played 5th edition.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was under the impression that 5th edition isn't that old, but
Yeah, I think only 5 or 6 years. Yeah, like 2020 maybe is when it came out. Or maybe a few years before that. Well, anyway, Jess Lanzillo is a name that might sound familiar if you've been following D&D corporate bullshit. Jess Lanzillo is over at Vampire Masquerade now, and so they have announced that and some other stuff: Mage the Ascension, Changeling the Dreaming, Vampire the Dark Ages, which I assume is Vampire the Masquerade set in medieval times, vampires but in D&D world.
that would make sense. Yeah.
Which sure could be cool, could be good. Also, the next thing on the list is that Paizo. You know what? They're still making games and stuff too.
They still exist.
They still exist.
They're struggling. Oh, God love them, but they're going to make it through.
They're going hard. There's a lot of stuff on this list, man.
There's a lot of stuff here.
Swinging.
New rules light horror game 13 Omens. Impossible Magic, a supplement that is new Pathfinder classes, archetypes, and arcane schools. New spells, magic items. Bastion of Blasphemies, which is a very good title. Bastion of Blasphemies. Pathfinder Adventure Fighter 15. Starfinder, new fiction. And I don't know, there's 2 different pieces of Starfinder art on here, and this is dope. This is like, maybe I should get into Starfinder, because both of these pieces, I don't know how well you can see that. Here, I can zoom in a little bit, maybe. Enhance. Yeah, I love this art. It's like a neon fever dream.
So one of the big adventures coming up next year, question mark, 2027, like further out on the timeline, there is a Starfinder crashes into Galarian Pathfinder crossover, because they're working off the same engine. So that's exciting. Everyone who's sad about Spelljammer being bad, I'd hate not to be that guy, but go play Pathfinder. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, when they came out with Starfinder 2nd Edition, they made it completely compatible with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so you can build a character from each of the games and play them side by side. The thing that stands out to me is Paizo working on a rules light game, having a different game other than Pathfinder. I think game companies need to do more of that, right? Like MCDM, like they've got their crunchy draw steel game, but now they're working on Crows, which has an old school feel to it. Like, I think game companies need to be making more than one game, right? It just makes sense. Like,
I've long said the smartest thing WotC can do for 6th edition of D&D is to go back to a basic and advanced editions.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And I really hoped Death Saves was going to be more rules light, but it doesn't appear to be. I got some more information on that from Mike Merle, so we can talk about that at some point in this list as well.
Well, let me go through the last thing in this list, and then we'll talk about that before we talk about the backer kit thing. Also, masks came out about 10 years ago. Yeah, if you're into X-ray vision and teen angst, would be the kind of thing that you would be into for masks.
What a combo.
Like Teen Titans, or they give some examples: Avengers Academy, Blue Beetle, New Warriors. My kid is into Teen Titans.
Yeah,
It's not bad, actually.
Yeah, no, the early Chris Claremont X-Men, right? That was full of teen angst. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they weren't teens; they were young adults. But I mean,
There
Jean Grey and Cyclops have had a really unhealthy relationship for a long time.
there was like an X-Men spin-off that was teenagers. That was the New Mutants. That's
Yep.
what that was. The New Mutants that were like the next class at Xavier's. Anyway, nobody cares. So then there's that. Yeah, they're going to do a Kickstarter for 2E of Masks: New Generation. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. I'm familiar with Masks, but I have never played it. I haven't read it either.
Yeah, I read the first edition years ago. I bought the PDF and downloaded it. It looked cool, but I never had a chance to run it or play it. But good for them. I know it gets mentioned in a lot of online discussions as a recommendation if you want to play a superhero game.
Yeah. So Brad, give us the tea on death saves. What did you learn?
Yeah, so I'm a Patreon supporter of Mike Merle's, and we've known for years that Mike is working on like his own version of 5th edition, right? And that is what this Death Saves project is. So Mike actually talked about in this like little pod he released to his supporters, via email, and he explained. He said that he couldn't remember exactly. He said it was either the day he got laid off from Wizards of the Coast or the day after Joe Manganiello reached out to them. So Joe and Mike have been brainstorming this death saves thing since then. So this game that he's been building, and if you're one of his supporters, Patreon supporters, you've seen what he's been working on. This new version of 5e that he's tailor making, that is going to be this Death Saves project. It's probably going to have another name. They're probably not going to call the game Death Saves. But that Death Saves is the working title right now. And yeah, so, and the intention is it's supposed to be faster, deadlier version of 5e. Because obviously Mike helped design 5e. So this is Mike's 5.5, right? If Mike had stayed on the Wizards of the Coast design team, this is what Mike would have wanted to put in 5.5. Like he's doing it his way. And with the help of Joe, he's dialing up the difficulty level because he wants it to be more challenging. And that's, and the live, well, it wasn't a live stream. It was actually pre-recorded. They made it sound like it was going to a live stream that aired, the day after. They aired on Friday morning after the Thursday Gen Con D&D announcements. So it was Dottie and Professor Dungeon Master and Joe Manganiello, and Mike ran the game. What's his name? The Pirate Board guy. I forget the YouTuber's name, but he loves Pirate Board, and his stuff's all about Pirate Board. He may have actually designed Pirate Board, but he was there too. And they played characters like built from 5th edition. They played characters built from 5.5, and they played characters built from the Death Saves system. And they all played well together. But Mike ran the Death Save system with all these different characters. And everybody reported in that it ran smoothly and it ran great. Even Professor Dungeon Master in his video this week said it ran great because it was all experienced players who knew their characters well. And Professor Dungeon Master even admitted he doesn't like high level D&D. He doesn't like 5.5, but he had a blast playing it because, and I've said this for a long time, that 5.5 is not a great system, but if everybody knows how to play and everybody's on top of their character and knows what they're doing, it works. It can be a fun experience if everybody knows the rules well. And that's what Professor Dungeon Master finally admitted this week. But yeah, so it all comes together. The project that Mike Burrows has been working on for the last 2 years is this Death Saves, or evolved into Death Saves, and it's going to be a D&D product. Like Mike, talked about how ironic it is that they laid him off, and he just continued to design, and now his design is going to be sold by Wizards of the Coast, right?
Yeah.
So, but that was cool to hear. It's cool to get some more details on death saves.
I'm looking forward for a time in the future when you're starting a new game. All right, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and somebody says which one, and they don't mean which edition, but they mean all of the stuff that you would talk about in a session 0 or like in your little bespoke PDF that you hand for prospective players that they then ignore, and explain how like cozy versus deadly. There's a lot of like great advice on how to do that, but if there was a single answer that was officially codified, where it's like, oh no, we're playing WoW, we're playing 5.5 in Forgotten Realms by Kobold Press, we're playing Icons, whatever that is going to be, or like we're in Greyhawk, we're using this book and this book only. It makes it way easier, I think, to have a much more focused game. And then, yeah, as far as everybody knowing what they're doing, making the game work better, yeah, absolutely. That is why I like a simpler game, lower level play, because if you want a deadly game, as I am running a fairly deadly 5.5 game, we're up at level 8, level 9 now, and an experienced player who just made a new character that's a new class and subclass out of a updated edition of the game, even if they've been playing for a long time, there's a lot of like, oh wait, no, how did that spell change between editions? So a lighter rule set lends itself also to a deadlier game and faster character creation, and then faster contact on the ground when you're actually playing.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I agree with Jim every time he says it, that there should be a basic version of D&D published by Wizards of the Coast. It would just be smart of them to do. But you know what would make everything you just said really work well, Ryan? Is if D&D Beyond could actually toggle things on and off well. So, because I'm assuming eventually the Renegade products, the Renegade Transformers and the Renegade G.I. Joe and Renegade, what's the other? Oh, Power Rangers. I'm assuming all that's going to be on D&D Beyond at some point. And you're going to have all this World Beyond stuff with World of Warcraft and the Icons stuff and the Death Saves game. If all of that is on D&D Beyond because it's all 5th edition compatible, they better have some damn good switches to turn that stuff on and off. So if my players are like, I really want to play Greyhawk, all right, well, let me just turn on the basic rules or the core rules. Let me turn on the core rules and let me turn on the Greyhawk rules, and we're just going to run with those, right? If we're going to play Renegade's version of Transformers 5e, then let me turn off all that other stuff so I don't get a wild, elf and a Jedi with a lightsaber thrown into my Transformers game, right? Like D&D Beyond needs to have good switches to control all of this. Or it could, like, that's where I could see all of this being a disaster, is where it just puts so much, and I think this was what Chat was talking about earlier, this is going to put so much on the DM to say no to. And then you're going to have to wade through it all at the table, because even when you say no to it, players are going to find it like, oh, this looks cool, and they put it on their character sheet, but it's some magic item or some subclass from an edition, or not an edition, from a campaign setting that you're not playing in, right?
Yeah,
100%. I was soapboxed on that last time. Should be campaign level. Give the GM the opportunity to turn things on and off and make it function, but not having it at character creation. Because someone shows at the table and they're like, I cast oil change. You're like, what the fuck? Where does that come from? And it takes them 5 minutes for them to tell you it comes from Transformers Renegade. And you're like, okay, yeah. tell me what it does so I can quickly back of the envelope think about if it's balanced or not in the middle of running this game at the table that everyone else is staring at us having this conversation right now. Like,
Right.
ugh, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got to move on because we still got a few more things to talk about here, and I'm hoping we got time to make something. So, Dungeons and Daddies, not a BDSM sourcebook. I've mentioned this before, right before this launched. But the campaign just passed $2 million, hit $1 million on day one. Can you believe that from a podcast? Just a sourcebook from some comedians on a podcast playing D&D. $1 million on day one. And I pledged. I'm going to get my name in the book. Oh, cha-ching. And that's all I really wanted to say about it. I don't know if you guys have any comments, but yeah, I'm happy this stupid little podcast, their backer kit's up to $2 million already.
Good for them. What is the product? What is it like subclasses? I mean, there's like a minivan on the cover.
It's a source book based on their first campaign. I think mostly their first campaign, which just has some maps and stuff. Like they have Meth Bay is a city in like Roqueport, and where does it say exactly what to? Talk locales, wacky one shots, new classes, item spells. Like you can summon the Honda Odyssey, and like there's a spell called Speak Japanese that allows you to talk to the Odyssey because it only speaks Japanese. Mastering Mysterious Art of Daddy Magic and 30 playing incredibly useful spells like Skip Therapy and Speak Japanese. Skip Therapy is a great spell. That's very funny. I don't remember that from the campaign.
That's fantastic.
Travel through exotic fantasy locales like Balls Deep, Roqueport, and Meth Bay. So it's like Ack Inc., but funny.
Yeah.
Whoa, shots fired. All right.
Ack Inc. is
Hey,
fine.
everybody. This community is incredible. So all of the angst you have about corporate overlords, like, yo, you can make Cracked Out Forgotten Realms and make $2 million off the back of it, and they can't stop you if you do a good job. It's cool here. This is cool. This is incredible.
Yeah.
What a hobby. What a community. What a place.
Yeah, well, and like I think that's the great thing. I mean, if we're talking about a new era of D&D, you know, can we really just like embrace this idea that D&D is for everyone, and there is no right way to do D&D. I say it that way because there are wrong ways to do D&D, where like you alienate a player or pick on a player, or you know, do some shitty things to your friends because you know you got resentment about their min-max build or some stupid shit like that. But as a whole, right, there is no right way to play D&D. Like you can do shitty things at your table. Like that's bad D&D. But when it comes to edition or campaign setting or third-party products or OSR products, there's no right way to do it. You do that, you know, enjoy D&D the way you want to enjoy D&D. And that should be the new era of D&D, right? And hopefully what WotC is doing reinforces that idea, and the success of projects like this reinforce that idea.
My favorite part from here is when it said, it's like the Who We Are section. It says, one of us wrote Borderlands 2, 3 of us worked on Video Game High School, and one of us gave her mom a birthday card that was so good, she said, Beth, this is the best birthday card I've ever gotten. Which I love that.
Aww.
Beth May, she's a poet and a very, very funny actual play performer. So, but you might think, what else could be new out there in the world? But wait, there's more. Our friends at Darrington Press announced, not to be outdone by a slew of D&D announcements, they tried to also release a plethora of announcements themselves, which plethora actually means too many of a thing. Three Amigos misdefined that word for a lot of people. So Daggerheart, Darrington Press announced a bunch of stuff. They've announced, excuse me. So Hope and Fear is still coming out August 25th, and they said that they're going to be releasing 2 major projects a year for Daggerheart going forward for the next 3 years. Nice. 2 tentpole projects, settings, campaigns, expansions, adventures, and more. free digital adventures. I believe they've just also recently released a free one. I haven't got to take a look at it yet in the last couple of weeks. That Chris Perkins or maybe Crawford wrote it. I don't know. Standalone digital releases like a Romantasy campaign frame. That's interesting. Game accessories like coming in November, GM screen, fear trackers, and adversary decks. The adversary deck is very intriguing to me, especially if the deck comes with a good way to track on it. Like if there is, can you write with a dry erase marker on a playing card?
If you do the playing card right, if you like, not laminate it, but some sort of petrochemical coating.
Well, I guess, if you care about your cards, you're going to have them sleeved anyway, and you could write on a sleeve with the dry. I'm just thinking of the adversary card would be useful if I can track, hit points and stress on the card. Right? If not, and then the card's just a card, and it looks cool, and I want it. Even if it doesn't, even if it's not useful, I still want it. But it would be great if I could actually use it, then slam it down and put tokens on it to track something, or use a little dry erase marker.
I like Daggerheart for a lot of reasons. First and foremost might be the mini campaign that we ran, which is near and dear to my heart. But I also like it as the only TTRPG that made me consider buying an abacus. And I think they're making one. They're making a fear tracker, but I was like, do I need it? Do I need an abacus? Is this the moment I do that? Do I have to go study abacuses now? Do I have to price compare and like what kind of beads are on there?
With so many crafting DM channels out there, like Black Magic Craft and DM Scotty and these guys who've been making dungeon tiles and all these 3D art projects that you can use at your game table. Has anybody done a fear tracker? Like, I feel like that should be a video.
I've seen him on Etsy.
Like
Nacho is Nacho in chat. Nacho talked about he bought one. I think some of that was handmade. Nacho, are you in chat? I don't think I've seen him. I don't think he's probably still sleeping.
Yeah, I haven't seen him today.
So
still,
also,
it's not even second breakfast in Middle Earth. He's not around yet.
Do they know about second breakfast? One shot wonders, 100 one shots in a book. It says for different Daggerheart frames for every campaign frame, the core set and Hope and Fear. So you're going to get about 10 to 12 one shots per campaign frame, maybe. Which that's great. I like demonstrating to people what they can do with the different frames. Plushies, of course. I might have to get the Ribbit plushie.
Yeah, it's my favorite too. That
Yeah.
bat, cute. That rabbit, the ribbit, frog with a backpack, and a little lantern. Yes, please.
Ribbit and a Buccat. Coming to more VTTs, translations in a bunch of languages, actual plays. They're still ignoring us. Why won't you highlight our actual play, Darrington?
We should make another one.
Silo Lands, which this art looks horrific. I haven't seen it yet. It's on my to-do list. The actual play mini series from them. And then that's it. That's it for that. Any thoughts here?
I'm just really glad Daggerheart is as successful as it is. It's a great contribution to the community. I think it's a really fun game. It's a great way to play. And yeah, I'm all in favor of having really solid games that people get excited about. And this one has stuck the landing and is continuing to put out solid products. I think Daggerheart's here to stay. Fingers crossed.
I think all the criticism around Candela Obscura about it being one and done, I think they have effectively neutralized that because they've shown they're committed to Daggerheart was not just drop it and run, that they're actually going to support it.
Yeah. Hiring Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford to help work on it too. I mean, that you're paying those two guys a sizable salary, so they better be coming out with something. That's a commitment.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter online that the first thing that they're going to be making after Hope and Fear is that Chris Perkins wrote a Exandria campaign frame that's going to be into a whole book. They're turning Exandria into a Daggerheart setting, and if that's true, could be good. I'd be curious to see. It'd be relatively easy because they've already got multiple campaign source books for D&D. It's mostly a lot of like changing the stats. And converting the stats to Daggerheart.
Yeah, because you could take the lore parts out of the existing books and just edit it and then add Daggerheart mechanics around it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Now we've come to the part of the show that we call the catch up, where we just catch up and say what we're doing. So, you guys got anything going on?
I got to play Dark Veil 2 again. I mentioned it a few weeks back. It's a sci-fi RPG, very cool D6 dice pool mechanic that hopefully is going to come to Kickstarter or backer kit like sometime next year. It's really cool. The game designers, like, this is his second edition. This first edition, I've got the book from first edition, but he's completely reworked it into this new D6 dice pool system, and it's a really fun game to play. It's a science fantasy mashup. It's the setting is really cool, where it's like a fractured Earth. Like if you kind of take like the original Battle World from the Marvel universe, the idea that it's like fragments of all these different worlds smashed together into one world. So you've got like a steampunk setting and a hard science fantasy setting, and you've got like a medieval setting, and they're all on the same world, but they're divided by these like magical force fields, and the only way to get through them is through these special gates. But as these communities interact with each other after this cataclysm that caused them to all smash together, the technology is getting shared. So you're getting like steampunk power in your fantasy setting, and then like somebody's smuggling a laser rifle into the steampunk setting. It's a really cool concept for a world, and the dice mechanics are pretty slick.
Since this question, it's been a while, but I remember liking it.
Oh, I love the setting. And I always wanted to play I forget which edition of Gamma World was based on 4th edition D&D, because I feel like mechanically 4th edition D&D would have lined up really well for Gamma World. And they actually made it, but I never bought it. I never got a chance to play it. That's my biggest thought about Gamma World.
Dude, Ryan, what you got going on?
Tuesday nights haven't happened because I went to Germany. I went to the idyllic countryside in northern Germany and looked at some really old stuff, which we Americans don't get to do very often as far as architecture goes. So that is akin to playing D&D in a lot of ways. In other news, our Curse of Strahd game has reached the ultimate chapter. They're in Castle Ravenloft, and I am not going to let them leave.
I think that's a requirement. Like, you can't leave once you enter.
Well, they left once already. They did leave under duress, and not everybody got out. But this is it. It's gonna take us a while. We're only playing like 2-3 hours online, and we don't see each other otherwise. So there's a little bit of bullshitting, the bracketing, actual gameplay. But it's what? I don't know. Approaching a year and a half now. Yeah. It's a long run.
I feel like Castle Ravenloft is like the Hotel California.
In my Curse of Strahd game, we just had a PC die to a door trap. Can you believe it? Died from a trap on a door. Level 7. Hard to believe, but wow. That happened. So, speaking of things that happen, now we move on to the portion of the show where I show you a really dumb Dungeons and Dragons product. And obviously, they're not sponsoring us or anything like that, or I would not have introed the segment this way. But Dr. Squatch soap. There's Mimic Brick, and I think is Mimic Brick the only one? Yeah, it's the only one out right now. So the soap looks pretty. I have to say this. I received a trio of Dr. Squatch soaps as a gift a year or two ago, and I thought they were the worst soap I've ever experienced. That big square brick is enormous. It's impossible to hold. I can't imagine if you were a small-handed person how you would even deal with it. But it was huge. The soap disappeared in about 4 days. And I was like, what a colossal waste of money. I'm glad I did not buy this. I would never spend my own money on this garbage. And
that's how you know it's soap for dudes. It's man soap. This ain't no lady soap. It's a brick. All right. Funny story. Whatever. 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Going to sleep. It's the modern era, so pillow talk is just scrolling on our phones at the same time. But my wife nudges me and says, "Look," and shows me this on like some Instagram ad. She's like, "Look, D&D soap," and I was like, "Oh shit, we're gonna talk about this in a couple weeks. I'm sure."
Hey, monetize the brand. Monetize the brand. D&D soap, D&D baloney, whatever you got to do to like make Wizards of the Coast more money, as long as you're not screwing up the game anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I kind of prefer this stuff to Transformers D&D because if a player wants to use Mimic Brick soap, that doesn't have any bearing on the game. But if they want to play an Autobot, then we're gonna have to have a conversation about that. But as long as you use soap, you're welcome at my table. In some form.
Even if your soap is a big brick that disappears too fast.
So the game shop that I frequent has existed for a long time, but there's a sign that says wash yourself before coming here, essentially, in politer language. And my wife was like, "What is it?" It's like, "Is that a jug?" I was like, "No, you need that for some other not D&D players as much." But yeah, there are jokes. So there's no Magic the Gathering soap. Let's put it that way. Got him.
Got him.
There definitely needs to be Magic the Gathering soap.
Boom. I could just see the clicks rolling in from all the controversy we're starting now.
Come at me. Come at me.
Yeah.
I always save it for like 50, 57 minutes into the podcast to like really spark the controversy.
I think that was a Dale Carnegie bit of advice. He said, wait till the 57th minute of your sales pitch, then hit him with the thing that's going to really... Anyway, so we don't have
when
to
you
look
shake
at
a man's hand, try to break it and never let go. Is that Dale Carnegie?
I don't know. All right, so moving on to the part of the show that we actually enjoy. All the stuff before, we hated doing that. We're contractually obligated to do that by our.
That was for you guys.
Yeah, that's all for this is the part for us. One for them, one for that's how we do it here. Moving on, I thought we could try
an hour for you guys and 20 minutes for us.
I thought we could try the random sentence generator again. So it started on today. I heard something new and unmemorable. Let's skip that. So I'm just going to hit the button once, and then somebody stop me if anything interesting happens. He was all business when he wore his clown suit.
Pass.
Oh, you don't want killer clowns in your D&D? No, we can pass.
They ran around the corner to find that they had traveled back in time.
Let's do it. Let's talk time travel mechanics. Can we do time travel in D&D?
Well, I think there's a little hint of it in... I don't know if it was a drop. Again, there's too much like org chart stuff going on with D&D these days. But one of those little snippet encounter adventure releases they did was you go back in time using Arcana Unleashed material to one of the floating cities of the Netherese. So they're flirting with it.
Mhm.
I think if you're running a long-term campaign, it's a dangerous game. You get to grandfather paradox real quick, at least with the people I play with.
What do you think about the idea of Groundhog Day as a campaign or as a one-shot idea, where basically an NPC is stuck in time, not the. Well, that doesn't work. I was just thinking of the idea of like they ran around the corner to find they traveled back in time. I thought of the idea of like a party encountering somebody and saying, you know, like, I'm really sorry for what's about to happen. And then 10 minutes later, they're like, those people are in a loop and something happens. Or like trying to get them out of a loop. But then the party, if they're in a loop and the party is in regular time, then they only have one chance to interact with them. That doesn't really work.
But there's something to that. If I do that to the PCs, if I Groundhog Day the PCs, like that's a great way to do a meat grinder. To just like repeatedly, oh, you got this far in the dungeon, boom, you're dead. And now, okay, you walk into the front door, you know all of these, how to get through all of these traps and encounters. Like now I put you into this, but I've taken away all your XP or something. Maybe too strong for some parties, but I like the idea of maybe even there is some sort of overlap where like you watch yourselves die and cannot interact with it because that would destroy the timeline. So you watch yourself eat it and then go 30 seconds later.
What if you, all right, so two ideas. What if you, one, it's the quest giver that's stuck in the Groundhog Day. So they give you a quest, you go do the thing, you come back and see what impact it had on the town, and the quest giver is like, it didn't work. Go do this instead. Could that be a way to run Groundhog Day?
But if the quest giver's stuck in time and you come back the next day, how does that work?
I'm just writing Bill Murray so far.
Okay.
But then the other thought I had. Oh, the other thought I had, I lost. Damn it! I had two thoughts.
Let me make a new sentence and see if that helps jog things. We need another element to mingle with time travel here.
Yeah.
The estate agent quickly marked out his territory on the dance floor.
To find a real estate agent? To find a state agent, is that a thing I don't know about? Is that British English?
Estate agent. Maybe that's somebody that handles the rights and licensing for a person, handles their property after they've passed.
Ambrose is saying British English. Yeah, it feels like, is this a certain kind of barrister? Is this a very specific sort of legal thing? All right, dance floor. I'm hanging my head on dance floor.
What about a big hootenanny is happening at the tavern?
Hootenanny, I like it.
It's like, say the local violence ball team just won the big game against the other violence ball team down on the other end of the valley. So they're celebrating, and there's a big hootenanny at the tavern. So everyone's there, and there's some kind of time thing that happens at the tavern.
Oh, I remember my thought.
Okay.
What if you use the flashback mechanic from your what's the game called?
Blades
in the Dark. Yeah, like you use the Blades in the Dark flashback mechanic Like so, you start the story. You have been caught in a time loop. So players, when they run into something, they can say, "Hey, we did this one time before." Like each player gets one of those. Each player gets a flashback to make up how they tried this the last time and it didn't work, as to give them advantage or change up the situation this time around.
I like that. What about this? I like the idea. I really love the idea. I've always been infatuated with the idea of the mysterious stranger comes to town, that trope. Which is kind of similar to the Q and Star Trek trope. The idea of the all powerful trickster god who likes to wind up his toys and see how they go. So what if the party rolls into the town? They're like, there's a big shindig at the tavern tonight because the violence ball team won. So the party goes to the shindig, and then in the morning they wake up. And when they go down to breakfast, the violence ball team just won yesterday. The big shindig is tonight. And so, they're going to figure out they're in some kind of time loop. And what if it's something like, as they replay the shindig over and over again, there's somebody or something that's changed or is not right, that the trickster has changed. And that's what they have to identify to break the time loop.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking that.
So it's like
Groundhog's Day. Oh,
so something like they go to the shindig and it's revealed that like a bunch of kobolds were hiding in the dry goods. Kobolds they ate all the bread in the barrels and then they fell asleep in there, and then the kobolds bust out and then there's a fight. And you have your level 1 fight with the kobolds at the tavern. But then because of the way that fight happens, something is different on the next go around. Like it's not bread, it's jam. I don't know. Time travel stuff can get pretty complicated, but I'm just kind of throwing out ways that there's room for the players to affect things and to change how the next go around goes.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of it being at the tavern and keeping it simple, so we're not like we got a whole campaign worth of shit to track. I like the idea this maybe is like a one shot. What if it's the twist is as simple as the dwarven innkeeper lost his beard, and you've got to, in order to get out of this loop, you got to find out how the dwarven innkeeper lost his beard and prevent it from happening. Because something about this dwarf losing his beard has broken the timeline in this little village.
I like it. What do you think is the ultimate answer? How did it actually happen?
That's a good question. Hit the sentence generator and see if it gives us an idea.
All right.
I think it caught on fire. I mean, it's a dwarf with a beard that's soaked in alcohol. That's going up at some point.
So do you mean like his beard got destroyed and he just doesn't remember because of the time loop?
Could be, or it could be magical. Like it could be a curse, right? It could be, it could be anything.
Cast alopecia.
Yeah.
Let's see. 100 years old is such a young age if you happen to be a bristlecone pine.
It's giving elf, druid, enti vibes.
Oh, what if what makes this tavern so popular, or this inn so popular, is the dwarf, of course, brews his own beer, and maybe it was the new beer that he tried had some sort of pine product in it, and he has a weird dwarven allergy to pine that he didn't know he had, and that made all his hair fall out.
There's this 100-year-old bottle of bristlecone gin that they open up.
Yeah, something like that. So it could be something really small like that, and of course the players are going to gravitate towards the big stuff. The fact that there's kobolds in the cellar, and that there's a baby dragon in the barn, whatever. but it takes them a few times to figure out that it was the bristlecone gin.
That's fun also for just like a regular mystery where it's like the brewer in town woke up one day and his beard had fallen off, and so he's hired these adventurers to find out what happened, and it turns out he's just got an allergy to this stuff. Turns out you're just allergic.
Well, okay. All right. So we got a dwarven beard. They put little like trinkets into the braids or something. Like, I don't know how hair follicles get us into a time warp, but like you braid the time gem into your beard and then lose it because your beard fell out. Now we're talking. Now we're stuck. Now we're Groundhog Day in it.
All right, the trickster god, a stranger, showed up in town and sold the dwarf a gem that he wove into his beard, and that made his beard fall out because the beard is some sort of time gem, or the gem is some sort of time device. So his beard is literally lost in time, and maybe there's a stat block for the animated beard that you have to fight.
Oh, God. So. Is his beard missing, or what if it disappears while he sleeps and regrows throughout the day? And so by the end of the day, his beard is full, so the players can do like investigate it, etc. But the next morning, he wakes up, it's the same day again. The violence ball team won. Come to the shindig tonight. And his beard is gone. And I don't know.
What if it grows incredibly fast? What if we have this backwards? He's got a little beard. He buys a magic bean from this implacable stranger to weave into his hair to make it grow, and lo and behold, it does because it's manipulating time. But the cost of that is a Groundhog Day situation. Also, if we're going to have a violence ball game, I want the players to be able to gamble on it because they're gonna know the outcome and maybe influence the outcome.
Well, so the beard thing could be it's Groundhog Day, but his beard is the only thing that doesn't obey the rules of his beard keeps growing.
His beard grows and his beard resets every time.
Or it could just be that it just keeps growing even though the day resets, his beard never stops.
We got a Rapunzel sort of situation.
Yeah, so it's like Groundhog Day 1, normal beard. Groundhog Day 2000, he's got a ZZ Top beard.
Yeah. And now you got to convince him to shave. And that's a challenge.
All right, so if you give every player a flashback, right? And so you got 4 or 5 players, so you got 5 flashbacks. You can say you've already tried this thing 5 different times. And maybe the right answer, like if you write this as a one shot, maybe the right answer is whatever the players try the 4th time. Right. And so that way, it's you have basically a timer for your one shot. Players are going to get 4 attempts to fix this beard, and they've got 5 flashbacks to the 5 previous attempts. And then whatever the solution is what the players land on last.
That's always good. You can do like when the beard gets this long, the session is over.
Yeah.
And every time they try something, the beard gets a certain number of times. So, it's always going to work on the 4th try before it gets too long. But the idea of the beard growing as like sand running out of the hourglass, right?
Yeah. And like, so you get 1 flashback per player. That sets the length of the beard at the beginning, right? Because they've gone back in time, at least 5 different times. So the beard is now 5 inches long or whatever. And then each time they try, right, and maximum 10 inches. As the adventure ends. Whatever their solution is on that 4th or 5th try, whatever you set it at is the solution. Could be a cool way to run a one shot.
And I really like the idea that we've built a little machine that entices the players to just destroy everything. Like, look, you can burn this place to the ground, and we'll be like, okay, that's what happened yesterday, and we're gonna pick it from that point. Go.
Let me hit this one more time, see if that gives us anything good.
Hit me button one more time.
Seek success, but always be prepared for random cats. Maybe that's okay. There you go. Every time that to add a complication, every time that they reset the day, there are 10 more random cats wandering around the tavern. So by iteration 5 or 6, there's 60 alley cats wandering. Nobody seems to think this is weird. Everybody thinks it's totally normal that there's like alley cats all over the tavern, all over the beer taps on the tables. People just moving the cats aside.
Well, and that could be a mechanic, right? Like, and before you make a skill check, you've got to clear the area of cats, so the cats is going to give you disadvantage. Because
cats are definitely difficult terrain.
Yeah, cats are so in your way, right? So everything you do has disadvantage unless there's somebody else over there holding the cat out of the way.
It makes me really happy to have like a really crunchy mechanic for something ridiculous. So like you have an escalating cat die, right? Like day 1 it's a D4, day 2 it's a D6, and then just like subtract. Like, all right, make a skill check. Roll for cats though.
That's a brilliant way to do it. Yeah, and so you have your cat die, and if you fail because of the cat die, then right there's your description of how it didn't work because the cat jumped in your way.
And in the cellar, in a little secret compartment, a little secret door, catnip. So there's a little magic item the party can find.
Oh yeah, maybe the time gem is on the cat collar. We got a new cat, and then like the cat network.
The trickster god is the cat.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe he's like a cat. He's like a cool cat. He's got like a jazzy hat on. It's like some random cat shows up to the bar, and that's all starts happening.
Yeah.
So
there is what is the spin-off from Sandman? The one like the
spin-off?
The Dead Detectives or whatever it's called. It's like the two young guys are detectives and they can see ghosts. In that there was a trickster god that took on cat form.
Puss in Boots, PBEG. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is going to be Jellicle. Jellicle, right. The trickster cat.
Wrap it up, folks. We're done.
I mean, it's no Boroboros, but it's Jellicle the cat is pretty good.
Boroboros.
The Boroboros is the greatest homebrew of all time, and I think probably our greatest work.
Yes.
I don't think it'll ever be topped.
Dead Boy Detectives. That was the name of the show. It was actually based on a comic book. Yeah.
Okay. Did they make a TV show from that? Or was it just Sandman? They made Dead Boy Detectives?
Yeah, they made Dead Boy Detectives. But it's the same writer as Sandman. It's supposed to be set in the same universe.
Someone whose name will not be mentioned. And my heart's still broken over that. Anyway, I don't know if we want to talk about Jellicle cats more. That one kind of ran its course.
I said no. You're not. I refuse to break out into song.
All right, time traveling cats coming to drive-through RPG near you.
Yeah, any day now. Just keep refreshing. Go check drive-through RPG once a day from now on, and someday it'll probably be there. Well, anyway, we're talking about Jellicle cats, so it means we're probably about out of things to talk about here on the show. So I'm going to wrap this up, and thank you for watching and listening and making dumb stuff with us and talking about our conspiracy theories about Gen Con, because we have questions, and they need to answer them. Anyway, so from all of us at the Landlocked Warlocks, we're wishing you a wonderful early August weekend. Stay safe, stay cool, and We're going to get out of here. And I'm going to hit the button now. Unless you guys have anything else, any last words about cats, jellicle or otherwise.
There's no right way to play D&D.
There you go. We'll see, folks. I hit the button.